Joshua Waugh and Connor Bedard. And McTavish plays it back. McTavish very much wanted to play in this tournament. 8 Canadians are not back from the team named back in December of last year. 4 are injured. And a battle for the puck in the corner. There's no relegation this year, so Latvia is sitting a very young team. 16 of the 25 players in their roster are young enough to return at Christmas time. And here's Bedard with it. Connor Bedard drops it back to Zellweger. Olin Zellweger. Never to the Western Hockey League centers it. And that's knocked on goal by Waugh. Joshua Waugh to the Quebec League. 50. Connor Bedard works his way in. Bedard still with it. Another 2 around. Winds and shoot. Deflected just wide. McTavish back on it. McTavish a backhand shot that goes high.
Next guy, so someone has to find some space in front of the net, and it was Waugh who got a pretty good tip on that puck.
Well, has that roll off his stick and back up the center ice to Sabrango. Snaps out ahead to Bedard. In comes Connor Bedard with McTavish. Bedard shoots, scores! Connor Bedard with a lightning strike, and Canada's got a 1-0 lead.
There it is. There's the release. We've talked a lot about it. He's shown it throughout his last year of play, and he doesn't need much. Again, a little turnover, new zone, picks up a broken play. Here's the first one. Drag and pull. Missed it. About 30 seconds later, adjust the sights, drag and pull. Yeah, I got it this time. I'll get it that 8 inches inside.
Tries to drop that back for Riley Kidney, the Montreal pick. Goes back to Sabrango. And Sabrango winds in. Donovan Sabrango, a wraparound try. Rebound put wide by Kidney. Here's Will Cooley on it. Back for Sabrango. Long wrist shot. It flutters down. Oh, and the goaltender Berzinch got spun around as Latvia played.
Incredibly whippy stick. A 70 flex. But watch his eyes. Watch the effort he's putting into this pull and release. Everything he's got into it to flex that stick, kick it off. And wow, not a bit of spin on that puck either. He pulls it clean, chain release, but the effort to flex and release shown on his face as he gets his first of the tournament. Love it. It's fantastic.
It's incredible. You know, it's been compared to Joe Sakic's release, which might be the greatest ever. Now busting in. Ravinska centers it, and that just missed. Seacon's in front. Gaucher got knocked down. Rocked back up by Kidney, who flips it back down. Comes streaking in. Bedard trying to work that free, and does. McTavish has it. Plays it back, but the pass misfires as he looks for Lucas Cormier.
Bedard still tangled up in the far end. Grant.
They're now calling for it. Gets that lead pass. In comes Bedard, who flips it down. And the crowd booing as Bedard was tied up way behind the play. Moved back up by Martin Slavin. She plays for Cedar Rapids in the USHL. His dad, Rodrigo, the most decorated Latvian international of all time, has played some 200 international games, 12 world championships, and Berzinch makes the stop on him. Waugh rings it back around to McTavish as the top line comes back out. Mason McTavish winds it across the top. McTavish shoots from a sharp angle. McTavish back on it. Drops it off to Bedard. Bedard shoots, and that was blocked by Harris Brent. Another chance in front.
McTavish had an empty net, but he mishandled the pull off the back wall.
Here's Bedard back with it. That's picked off and moved ahead by Dukers. Fired back in by Andersons. And Sabrango rings it around to McTavish. Throws that rink wide for Zellweger. Zellweger to Bedard. Skips back down and Berzinch steers that away. Waugh back on it. McTavish comes in for it. Brought out quickly by Penyenko. Penyenko plays it across and a shot fired wide by Darzin. Darzin's back on the forecheck. And here's Sabrango with it. Sabrango.
Get a lot of tension. A lot of little taps, a lot of little cross checks from Latvia on the way off the ice.
Remember talking to Connor McDavid at Christmas time about how being a 16-year-old at tournament can be so difficult because you've dominated all along, and suddenly you're playing older players, and he found it frustrating. His first World Junior as a 16-year-old. Sidney Crosby had his ups and downs in his 16-year-old year. As a 17-year-old, he was pretty good.
They did okay.
Yeah. Well, Bergeron and Perry were his line mates. So. Penyenko plays it up ahead and it's knocked out by Ravinskas. And we've talked about this before in international hockey, Mike, the underdog formula. That centering pass is knocked down by Waugh, played off the glass and out. Shorten the game.
Yeah. How many guys playing on their offside?
Waugh plays it back. And here's Bedard. That bumped off the puck by Vinovich. And again, the Latvian.
He called.
Right.
Maintain your discipline.
Seeley to Bedard. Fires that wide. Yeah, Brendan Hoffman was penalized a couple times in the pre-tournament game against Sweden and is a healthy scratch today.
Got himself right off the lineup.
In comes Bedard. Poke check there by Simonovic. And Waugh plays it back around. Bedard waiting for it. Slides that back to Seeley to Thompson. Shoots! And that was blocked by Primalis. And the Latvians do block a lot of shots. In comes Waugh. Drops it back to Bedard. Bedard works in. Crunch in the corner by Primalis. Half a dozen of these Latvians have played in North America, mostly in the USH Pro side. Another chance now as Galars moves in. Had the attempt blocked by Cormier. Talking to coaches the last couple of days, most of these players haven't played meaningful games in months, so there will be some rust, but still. Seeley back across for Waugh. Cormier fan on it, goes back to Seeley. Seeley winds in, that rolled off his stick. Picked free by Forster. Now Forster turns it over and chipped back out by Lavage.
I know they want some responsibility on the defense, on the second unit, but they have two defensemen out there, including Seeley, who handles the puck an awful lot on the half wall in a spot where I'm sure he didn't play very often with the puck.
Power plays over. Latvia had the only shot. Waugh works it back in the corner. Cormier back around for Forster. And another chance for Latvia. Romanis works in with Bergmanis. Bergmanis walks in, keeps it back across, it's broken up on a good defensive play by Thompson. And now
everyone's paying so much attention to you. Yes. I can shoot it too.
And here's Cormier with it. 30 seconds to go in the Canadian power play. Ridley Gregg winds in, drops it back to Thompson. Back down to Forster. Thompson to Cormier, winds and shoots. He hammered that wide. Back is Cormier, swings it back across. Waugh centers it. Gregg battling at it. Give him a stick on that. Now Thompson. Rink wide to Waugh. Cormier shoots, scores! Lucas Cormier snaps it home. 5 seconds to go in the power play, and Canada's back on top.
Timely goal for Canada. Just 5 seconds left in the power play. Lucas Cormier, who had 33 goals this year in the Quebec leagues. It's innocent looking wrister on a fellow pass back, and Forster doing a nice job from the Bears, making him work.
That hit something?
Cormier's got his head up. Now, maybe a piece of...
Back to center ice. Seeley. 8 for a stop check, and he comes. A stop check. In, shoots, fired that wide.
Adam standing still.
Seeley pokes that rink wide, knocked down by Weinbergs. Plays it back to center ice. Here's Ozelich. Pass ahead, fired wide by Seekans. Stop check. 4-4. This is a big, heavy line for Canada. Not afraid to throw its weight around. That's knocked down by Dufour. And they can score, too. A stop check. Digging for it. Kidney has it knocked away. Moved up by Vito Lynch, who had that short-headed breakaway earlier.
Tired legs.
He's exhausted. McTavish winding in, taking a shot away. McTavish lines that back to Zellweger. To Cormier. Cormier back across. McTavish scooped that wide. It gets by Cormier and back down to the Canadian zone. Cormier back to Zellweger. 6 skaters on 5 for Canada here. McTavish winds in. He's a back and forth. Bedard to the goal post. Connor Bedard.
Just yet.
And Bedard takes a run at Ozelich there. Here's McTavish back on it. And Lavish tries to move it around. Lavish had quite a game against Finland. Endless shot blocking. Seeley plays it back across. Bedard, a hard shot. Perisic save. Rebound. Turned away from McTavish. Back at the point. Seeley to Thompson. McTavish centers it. Hammered wide by Waugh. Bedard back into the forecheck on Ozelich. They re-engage, and Bedard feeds that back for Seeley. Shot hammered wide again by Waugh. Here's McTavish back on it. McTavish banks it back to Thompson. Across to Seeley. For McTavish, bounced off his stick. And now raised for it.
Boy.
Jumping in his Gava.
Oh, he's so late.
Tired.
No.
Wow.
He waited. He went and waited and went again. You got a lopsided game. It was a pretty tight game throughout.
First goal was scored late in the second period as Waugh works in. Tonight, Germany plays Austria in the final game here.
Which is a massive game for both of those teams.
Because the winner is likely to get to the medal round. There's no relegation here. But a feather in your cap to qualify to play
one more game in the top 8.
Germany did it in 2021 here and almost beat Russia in the quarters. Lost 2-1, hit a goal post late. A big hit there by McTavish. He's going to go off for taking down Bergmanis. So Latvia, Brango. For Bedard. And Connor Bedard has been parked on the bench. He's Canada fills all his penalties, moves it and shoots. And Mr. That's just wide. Another chance. He throws it back in front. That's just missed for McTavish. Waugh back on it. Joshua Waugh. Throws it back down to Bedard. That's picked off by Penyenko. Brought back in by Darzic. Puck loose behind the Canadian goal. Darzic back on it. Scored late in the first period to tie this game. As we pass the midway point here in the third period, McTavish pokes it back to center ice. Korshanov being shouted there by Waugh. On center ice, McTavish squeezes off Provinskis. Back at the point, Ozelich winds across and shoots. That deflects wide. Provinskis centers it. That's picked off by O'Rourke. Picked up to the sideboards. Zellweger has some time to roll off his stick. And McTavish has it back. Rink wide for Waugh with Bedard. In comes Lynch. Bedard works in. Shoot! And that appears to jump in the mask. He's got his arm up in the air.
Compromise. At least can poke check and defend. The guys think their stick's broken, then they go break it.
Lockmello's back in the corner. Slides that by Bedard. Moved back in by Penyenko. There's O'Rourke back with it for Cormier, who has a Canadian goal. Cormier. Here. Gains center ice and banks out ahead. Bedard goes hunting for it. Penyenko moves that by him. Lockmello's back with it for Latvia. But Cormier fell, so Kosa's got to play it carefully, almost in the no-fly zone. Move back at the line. Korshanov. Long shot. Kosa saved the rebound. Tapped wide there. Gets skipped away from Kosa. And Dukers almost poked that home. Motion last year. Marco Kasper there.
He was dazzling at the men's worlds this past spring.
He's not here. Again, there's no relegation, so no harm for him as Thompson shoots. Same reason Moritz Seider didn't come for Germany in the bubble.
Those guys feel a lot of pressure to try to keep their team up if it was a normal relegation. Like
long year. But yeah, if there's a chance of being relegated, their guys will all come. Austria trying to build a program. Sealy lines that down. Now Sealy back on it. Minute 45 to go in the third. Oh, Kidney, a big hit there on Lavin. Benoit lays that back. Sealy's long shot. Steered wide by Berzin. Sealy hacking at it. Laid back, Penyenko. Lost the puck to Forster, and Forster bumps that back to center ice. Weinberg up ahead for Seacons. Steered wide.